So I want you guys to pay special attention. This is why I bring up receipts.
See this money and make this fight happen.
It does matter because you said that we're the ones talking. We're not the ones talking. Oh, we started talking after you guys started talking. It's retaliation. It's retaliation.
Your manager talking all crazy. Oscar talking crazy. It's the time, and I'm gonna make you pay for everything they saying. Straight like
ain't nobody's gonna pay over here.
I'm gonna make you pay.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I guarantee you. And we can bet whatever. I guarantee you.
I don't want to take your money away, bro. I'm not betting.
Gonna take nothing.
Nah.
You ain't gonna take nothing.
Can't keep, bro.
I'm gonna make every promise, and I'm gonna keep it straight like that. You're a great fighter. You look tremendous, but I'm gonna show the world I'm the best in the world. I got something for you.
Yeah, I can fight whoever I want at this point. I fought Bohachuk. People thought I was gonna lose to Lubin. They thought he was gonna box the shit out of me. You know, so I mean, like, I can do whatever I want. I don't care what people think. I don't care if it's Roy Jones, as great as his career was. I don't care.
We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Scandal. Controversy. Mayhem. Bad news for the boxing fans. If you are not a boxing fan, you might as well leave. I don't even know why you would be on a channel called Boxingego if you're not a boxing fan. But Vergil Ortiz, Jaron boots Ennis. The fight is hot. People want to see it, but I'm not convinced that we get it. So allow me in this video to unpack everything. We are going to pull up what I love, receipts. And I'm going to show you receipts why I'm doubtful of the fight or not going to be holding my breath. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, boxing has been pretty dry. You know, I know Gervonta Davis has a lot of haters, but one thing that Gervonta Davis recently stated that even the most fervent Gervonta Davis hater probably has to admit that boxing is dead right now. Doesn't mean it's going to always stay that way. Like the Las Vegas Raiders are a bad football team in the NFL league, right? Doesn't mean they'll always be bad, but right now it's not looking good, right? And Tank was right on the money. Boxing has been dry. You got Chris Eubank, Conor Ben too. I didn't even really care about the first fight. Watched it anyway because I have a boxing channel. It was cool. You know, I wasn't mad at it. But then it was kind of like, it reminds me of a movie I seen recently. Black Phone Part 2. Hated it. The first one was good. But the first one completed the story. So really wasn't even a need for a Black Phone Part 2. Because they told a complete story and it was good. Shout out to Ethan Hawke. So on the second one, the commercials came out and it was like a different spin. He's this like Freddy Krueger type supernatural deity or entity. And I'm like, all right, you know, you're expanding on the lure. I'm not mad at it. I watched it. The best parts were in the trailer, right? And the reason why I'm bringing this up because one, it's my channel, so I do whatever I want. Two, I love to give you guys analogies to kind of compare, just to put it in different perspective. So Black Phone 1, the point I'm making is the first movie told a complete story. People seem to pretty much like it in the horror thriller category. So it was cool. You didn't really need to make a sequel, but then you did a money grab and you mixed it all up. The boy Finney was he was the lead in the first one pretty much. And in the second movie, he wasn't. And his sister was. It just wasn't good. So when I'm looking at like Conor Ben and Chris Eubank, it's like you could have stopped while you were still ahead. You made a first fight that people love, but it makes me kind of question some of the decision making with Ring and Riyadh Season and Turkey because they keep going back to the same well. Like, I want to see Benavidez fight Bivol or Better Biev, but they just keep doing Better Biev, Bivol 1, 2, and then supposedly they're going to do a third fight. But nobody needs to keep seeing rematch after rematch after rematch after rematch. So it gets old, especially when we're talking about weight jumping. So the bottom line is boxing has been dry, decrepit, and very uneventful. So us boxing fans, we're left with like almost like fantasy fights of matchups in 2026 that we would like that are being discussed. One of these is Vergil Ortiz versus Jaron Boots Ennis. Now, as a fight, this hits on all the bases, right? Two guys, similar age. Two guys, great style. They don't fight the same, but they both have a fun style to watch. Regardless of the opponent, Vergil Ortiz isn't in bad fights where they're boring. Regardless of the opponent, Jaron Boots Ennis, he's not in like boring fights where I'm like, oh, this is so boring, right? You could critique other elements like who was that guy or this and that, but the fights itself, they're entertaining. So one would assume you put the names together and it could be fireworks. However, there's a big however. It don't look like the fight's gonna happen, which makes me mad because I've been covering this boxing and I really want to say this is the weakest generation of boxing that I've ever covered. Because even before I was covering boxing, before YouTube was even a thing, boxing was cracking. You had actual stars from Roy Jones to Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis. Like these were name known, recognized people. Sugar Ray Leonard. I mean, it just depends on how far we're going to go back. George Foreman, of course, the greatest. Muhammad Ali. Rumble, young man, rumble. Right? Even in the 90s, you had like dangerous heavyweights like David Tua, Ray Mercer, the merciless Ray Mercer, Tommy Morrison. Like people, they had good styles, good backstories, and made for fun fights. Razor Ruddock, whoever, right? This new generation, you do have some good fighters, but it's like the fighters that are probably the best skillfully are also like absentee and they don't even do much to brand themselves. Well, like Jaron Ennis, when he has a fight coming up, he'll do some interviews, cool. Vergil Ortiz, he has a fight coming up, he'll do some interviews, cool. But then when they're not fighting, you never really see Boots at other people's fights, except for the Vergil Ortiz fight, because he's trying to make a statement there. You never really see Vergil Ortiz too much at a bunch of like boxing gatherings and doing a bunch of interviews. So it's like out of sight, out of mind. And then you will have some personalities in boxing, like Ryan Garcia and Berlanga, but then these guys is questionable because they've never been champions. So Edgar Berlanga, he could do the talk, but both times he had the biggest names in front of him, Canelo, I was born ready, right? Hamza Shiraz, he lost, got dropped in both fights, and then lost badly in both fights where it wasn't even competitive. Ryan stepped up, talked all this crap about Tank, got cooked and stopped and quit. You know what I mean? So it's like, this is what's hurting. And then you have a fight as great as Jaron Ennis, which we'll get into. In fact, let me get these headphones because in the next minute of this video, I'm about to get it cracking. But it makes me mad And I got to tell you the chronological order. It makes me mad because at the end of the day, fights like Vergil Ortiz and Boots really could move the needle for boxing in a positive way, get new fans. I wish they would have probably branded themselves a bit better. But nonetheless, I think it'll be a good fight. And it really bothers me how boxing oftentimes plays out recently, right? Where you'll have a fight where it'll get a bunch of attention, and it's not really the fight that if you as a boxing fan were trying to turn your friend on to boxing, you wouldn't tell them to watch that fight when you see how it all played out. You get me? Like Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Seeing how the fight played out, you would never in a million years, if you had a friend, a homie, a partner, or a girl or whoever, that you wanted them to get into boxing and start going to the events with you, or you wanted them to like boxing, and you had to put on one tape. They said, hey, I tried boxing before. I don't really like it. So I'm going to give you one chance to impress me. So put on the most impressive fight. And if I like it, then I'll consider, supporting the sport. You would never put Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. It hit whatever numbers on Netflix. A lot of people watched it, but it just, come on, bro. That's just not the fight that you would use to get people in there. You might do Arturo Gatti, Mickey Ward, Diego Chico Corrales, Castillo, you know what I mean? Ike Abeabuchi, David Tua. Like, you're going to go in your bag a bit more, right? A lot of great fights. But you wouldn't pick, I wouldn't even pick Canelo Crawford. That wasn't a good fight to me. It was a great performance. And that's what y'all got to understand. There's a difference between a great fight and a great performance. And I think when you make Vergil Ortiz versus Jaron Boots Ennis, you have a stronger chance to make a great fight, because Canelo, he ain't really was looking great before Crawford fought him. And I know the Bud Buddies, they're going to be like, oh, my ego. Oh. And they're going to start crying like, oh, you're hating on Crawford. Bro, Crawford did it. He beat him. It's over. I don't care. I never even cared about that fight. But Canelo didn't even look good his fight before that. You know what I mean? So he fought William Sco, who was very limited in experience, but he had big size and a difficult, Cuban style to keep turning Canelo, keep Canelo moving, allowed Canelo no time to reset and really like flat-footedly throw his punches, etc. So kind of the expectation was like, what do you think Bud was going to do if he could handle the power, which he showed he could, and if he moved up and his power was at least respectable, which it was. Done. You know what I mean? So it really was an easy fight to predict once you get past the initial, can Bud handle the extra weight against this guy? Right? So fights like that, they just kind of like come and go. Like, I don't know about y'all, but I don't really see people going back and like rewatching Canelo Crawford 1,000 times. I done watched Floyd Mayweather and some of his performances like Canelo, because Canelo, you could say it was one-sided, like the Crawford fight, it was one-sided, but Floyd was fighting a fresh 23 undefeated Canelo. He wasn't washed. You know what I'm saying? So it was just different. And Floyd didn't get touched. So from a boxing technical standpoint, there's just a lot of sweet science going on, right? And when we got fights with Jaron Ennis and Boots, that's all the way up my alley, because unlike Canelo, who had shown signs of aging, shown signs of like slippage, and that's what we got in the Crawford fight. Boots knocked out his opponent in one round, and he knocked out Stanionis and many other guys he fought. Vergil Ortiz, he's lining up some pretty good names at 54, and he just got probably his best name or one of them, Lubin. He got him out of there in 2 rounds. So a guy off a first round knockout, guy off a second round knockout, it makes all the sense in the world to make the fight. But here's why I don't believe that we should be even holding our breath for the fight to happen. Right now, I'm going to play a clip. This is Boots after his very last fight with Lima, where Boots, he stated multiple times that night he wants Vergil Ortiz.
You expecting a first round knockout?
No, I knew I was gonna knock him out though, but not first round. Probably like second or third.
Now, a fight with Vergil Ortiz has been heavily talked about, and Oscar De La Hoya said 154. Yep. Vergil's the only man at.
I'm the man at 154.
What do you have to say about you in this new weight class?
I feel great, you know.
I do like the confidence from Jaron Ennis here. He's walking back to his locker room after a first round knockout and being asked about the Vergil Ortiz fight, and he immediately interrupts the interviewer who said, like, Oscar De La Hoya says Vergil's the guy at 154. He's like, I'm the guy. My first fight at 54, I'm that ninja, right? I'm the one. So he corrected her. I like that.
I'm glad I moved up, and it's time to eat now.
What are your thoughts about Xander Zayas, Sebastian Fundora, Bakram, Vergil Ortiz?
Bring them on.
Who do you want the most?
I want Vergil next, but if it's not Vergil, you know, and anybody, anybody with the belts, you know, and I'm trying to stamp my legacy.
Undisputed?
Shut everybody up for sure, definitely.
Xander Zayas, all these names got mentioned. And then she said, who do you want the most? He said Vergil Ortiz. So I got to admit, Team Boots Ennis right now, and I understand it, they received a lot of flack for how things played out in the past, and they themselves were getting called a duck. Whether you believe it or not, fans looked at the situation because Turkey did an interview with Ariel Helwani, and he's like, we offered Boots to fight, and then he changed his mind. So people stamp Boots as a duck. So now he's like renegade. He's on a mission for revenge, and he got to clear his name, and that's what he's doing. He's like, all right, y'all think it's sweet. Y'all think I don't want to fight this dude. And then now he getting more aggressive. Post-fight, he like, I'm gonna beat you down. All that trash Oscar's talking, all that trash your manager talking, he talking crazy. I'm gonna make you pay. I'm holding you accountable for what they say. So you got to respect Boots' energy right now.
Do you believe we see the big one?
Now, right now, this is from yesterday. Boxingego Ennis, the father of Jaron, this is what he said about the fight happening next with Vergil.
Well, the way it seemed like, you know what I mean, they didn't want to take the fight, you know what I mean?
His boxing needs to see it.
I'm trying to stamp my legacy.
Undisputed?
Shut everybody up for sure, definitely.
Do you believe we see the big one, hopefully next year, between Jaron Boots Ennis and Vergil Ortiz? Boxing needs to see it. Do you think we see it?
Well, the way it seemed like, you know what I mean, they didn't want to take the fight, you know what I mean? But, you know, we can move on, you know what I mean? Well, we want the fight because I think that's a great fight for both of them. Vergil's a great fighter. You can't take it away from him. He got good people behind him, you know what I mean? So, we'll see.
Again, he was asked, this is Boxingego Ennis, you just heard. Bozy was asked directly about Vergil Ortiz. He's like, yes, that's the fight we want, but I don't know if they want it, Team Ortiz. He's like, Vergil Ortiz, taking nothing away from him. He's a great fighter. That's why we want to see the fight. Let's get it cracking. But if not, we'll have to go another route. So I want you guys to pay special attention. This is why I bring up receipts. I show y'all the receipts because I can have an opinion all day, but my opinion is always rooted in like fact and it's sometimes subjective, but it's also rooted in there's reasons why I feel why I'm saying what I'm saying. So the receipts, now it becomes irrefutable. I tell you, the most dangerous thing is a camera and a microphone and the internet and a Wi-Fi signal. Camera, microphone, Wi-Fi signal / internet, most dangerous thing. People are telling on themselves in broad daylight. And I'm playing this in a specific order. If you like me breaking down boxing very thoroughly, very exact, I'm not mincing my words. I'm not stuttering, stammering, looking for the perfect words. I'm giving you real boxing content. Shout out to everybody on the super thanks. Some people saying cash apps. It all helps support the channel so I could deliver you the best, highest quality content in the space. And take the time, like this video, to really break it down and illustrate. There's a lot of people, you know, Boxingego clones, and I pioneered this game. They want to do it, but a lot of people will put something in their title and then they'll just start talking. I put stuff in my title, talk, but I also let you hear or see what I'm talking about. And I feel like that extra step that a lot of people don't do goes a long way, because then it's irrefutable. Now, this clip is Jaron Ennis when he jumped in the ring after Vergil Ortiz knocked out Lubin. And I want you to pay special attention to Team Boots Ennis right now, very direct. When they're being asked about what they want next, they're like, Vergil Ortiz, he's the number one priority. We want Vergil. We don't know if they want it. That's the energy. It's not like, oh yeah, we'll fight anybody. There's a ton. They're being very direct. And then when I get to Vergil Ortiz's side, you'll see that is not the case. But this is Boots in ring with Vergil Ortiz. Again, very straightforward, very direct.
That time, let's get this money. It makes like this fight happen.
It does matter because you said that we're the ones talking. We're not the ones talking. Oh, we started talking after you guys started talking. It's retaliation. It's retaliation.
Your manager talking all crazy. Oscar talking crazy. It's the time, and I'm gonna make you pay for everything they saying. Straight like that.
Ain't nobody's gonna pay over here.
I'm gonna make you pay.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I guarantee you. And we can bet whatever. I guarantee you.
I don't want to take your money away, bro. I'm not betting.
You ain't gonna take nothing.
Nah.
You ain't gonna take nothing.
Again, you got the Philly Bull, and he like prime Cassidy. He's in his prime. Remember when Cassidy first came out, like on the freeway tapes and when he was on radio spots? Prime Cassidy was a beast, and his confidence was unmatched. Man, if you skit and pretend you crazy and pretend you pay me, I'll leave you slumped in the dumpster like Brenda, baby, right? And pipe and bag it. I sell powder every hour like diaper rash. You know what I mean? Like Prime Cassidy, he had that energy. And the Philly Bull is carrying that on. He's getting real aggressive right in front of Vergil Ortiz. He's like, all that stuff they talking, I'm going to make you pay. I'm making you pay for that. You going to pay for it. Vergil Ortiz, a little bit more like soft-spoken and no, it's retaliation, da-da-da-da. But Jaron Boots, and it's like, I'll bet you whatever, da-da. He's like, oh, Virgil's like, I'm not going to take your money. I'm not going to take your money. So I love Boots' energy.
I guarantee you, we can bet any amount of money. When we fight, I guarantee you, I'm going to win.
I don't bet, but don't make any promises.
The man said, I don't bet. So one guy, let's just be real. The black guy, the black fighter, Jaron Boots Ennis, is like, I'm going to run you for your we could bet any type of money. I promise you, I guarantee you, when we fight, this is what's going to happen. Vergil Ortiz, the Mexican fighter, is saying, I don't bet, but don't make promises you can't keep, bro. And then Jaron Ennis says, I'm going to make whatever promise I want, and I'm going to make whatever bet I want, because I know, like, basically there's going to be some follow through.
You can't keep, bro.
I'm going to make every promise, and I'm going to keep it. Straight like that. You're a great fighter. You look tremendous, but I'm going to show the world I'm the best in the world. I got something for you.
You got a yes for me?
I got a yes.
He said, I got something for you. You a great fighter. Again, respect to Jaron Ennis, because he could easily front on Vergil and be like, you're trash, you're a bum. I mean, that's kind of what Devin Haney said to Brian Norman. So he kind of puts pressure on himself, because you said Brian Norman is a bum and he only knocks out bums. And the only reason he has a high knockout percentage is because of bums. But like I said in my video about that, if that's the case, how come Devin Haney didn't have all knockouts when he was fighting in TJ against bum unknown people? You know what I mean? So power is still power. If it wasn't, then Shakur should knock out everybody that he fought that people said was a bum. or Devin Haney or whoever. So let's not do that. But he was like, I got something for you. Vergil Ortiz says, do you have a yes for me? But then we'll keep going and hear what Vergil's team is talking about.
How soon or how?
Right now, this is Vergil Ortiz's pops right after the Lubin fight.
I got a yes.
How soon or how much longer do you want Vergil to take a break and get back into the ring?
Well, we've had a long camp.
Yeah.
I've had a little boy, baby boy in August, so we actually went in camp a month and something early. So it's been a long camp, and not only that, but we still got to check his hands because he still hurts his hands. So we got to check his hands still. We'll see how we'll go from there.
Vergil Ortiz's own dad is like, we had a long camp. He just had a baby. We still gotta check his hands. Like what are we doing? Like what's going on, bro? Vergil Ortiz in the ring in front of the cameras is like, do you have a yes for me? Yo, pops right after in the back after a Lubin knockout is talking about we gotta check his hands. And the crazy thing about this is this. I get it. Power punchers. I'm not dumb. I cover boxing just as long as these people have been coaches, put it that way. Right? Just as long as some of these fighters have been pro fighters. And probably before that. So you're not finna. I guarantee you, I'll look it up right now. I've been doing this probably longer than Vergil Ortiz has been a pro fighter. Let me see when he turned pro. We gonna see. So you're not finna play me. You're not finna play me. Okay, yeah, for sure. For sure, I've been doing this. Vergil Ortiz, I'm on his page right now. The kid he didn't debut till 2016. I covered Mayweather versus Pacquiao off the top of the dome. I don't need no cue cards. Mayweather Pacquiao was in 2015. So I for sure was covering boxing way before he even went pro. So yeah, I know my boxing. I get it. Power puncher sometimes, Wilder. He had hand problems because he hitting so hard. So I get that. But you went 2 rounds with Lubin. 2. You went 2 rounds with him. Lubin seemed dummy shot and washed and seemed very gun shy, never landed anything on you. And the first thing when you're being asked about Jaron Boots in his post-fight, you talking about we just had a baby, we had a long camp, he got hand issues, we got to go to the doctor. What? Bro, you got to go to the doctor off of 2 rounds of massacre against a guy who was kind of washed? You know what I mean? Like, it just don't look good, especially when in the ring, you just got confronted by Boots and you talking about, do you got a yes for me? And then now it's we might be injured. Huh? Like, it don't, I don't care what no one says. It don't look good.
I got a yes.
How soon or how much longer do you want Vergil to take a break and get back into the ring?
Well, we've had a long camp.
Yeah.
I've had a little boy, baby boy in August, so we actually went in camp a month and something early. So it's been a long camp, and not only that, but we still got to check his hands because he still hurts his hands. So we got to check his hands still. We'll see how we'll go from there.
Again, Vergil's dad talking about a long camp. My thing is this. Who cares? You had a long camp for Lubin, and it obviously played out how you wanted. It paid off, and you cooked him in 2 rounds. You have plenty of time to relax and enjoy the holidays. Nobody's saying, oh, come back before Christmas and fight Jaron Boots Ennis. So for me, when I hear a team and it seems like consistent roadblocks really just being thrown out and laundry listed, that don't look good. You're talking about, oh, we had a baby. That's congratulations. What does that got to do with anything? Well, we had a long camp. You had a long Lubin camp. You got time. Okay, you could, as a parent, you got time to like take time off now because you got through Lubin unscathed. Right? So you can be with your baby for the holidays, for the first Christmas. The long camp is really it's irrelevant to a Boots fight because you wouldn't be fighting Boots until 2026. So when I start hearing all this stuff, oh, we need at least 10 million. Oh, we got to be the leaders in the negotiations. Oh, we just had a baby. Oh, the hand might be injured. Oh, we had a long camp. This don't really sound like the same energy from Team Boots Ennis. And if you disagree, you're probably a race fan, or you're just refusing to state the obvious. But I think you're probably a race fan, right? Because the race fans, it don't matter. They're just going to play dumb. They're going to play ignorant. Like everything that Boxingego is letting you listen to. And the funny thing is, people get mad at me. I didn't make nobody say this stuff. So I'm giving you my opinion based on the information that is available, just like a judge would do. The judge ain't responsible for this guy loaned this guy $5,000 and then he's saying the other dude didn't pay it back. The judge wasn't a party to that. The judge has to oversee and overhear like what the complaint is, the plaintiff, defendant, and determine who's liable or in the right or wrong. That's pretty much what I do in a content creation space, right? I didn't make him say we had a long camp and a baby and 3 men and a baby and all this other stuff. This is what they did, and I'm just reacting to it. But it don't look good. Let's keep going. Post-fight, Vergil Ortiz started, people were asking him about Boots. Boots had just 5 minutes ago been in the ring confronting him, which we listened to, and he talking about his dream fight is Errol Spence, and he don't care what anybody says. Listen.
One of them do you want next?
It doesn't matter who's next. If I had to pick, I'm going to be honest, it would be Spence because that's my dream fight.
Bro, Vergil Ortiz needs a PR person ASAP. He said the question was very direct. Again, what I said, pay attention to what is being said. Jaron, Ennis, they're like literally pretty much okay, first of all, I'm not even trying to be rude. I don't know who's doing these interviews, but let's be real. Boxing media right now is pretty trash, right? Very generic surface level questions being asked, very like gossipy, messy, high school type questions constantly being asked of the fighters, blah, blah, blah. So the reality is no one's in boxing media because I haven't covered a fight. So the game kind of feels the wrath of me not being in the field right now. You know what I mean? Because the people doing it right now, a lot of people, they don't put together great interviews. So it would just be real, or these media scrums, right? So a lot of the questions are just repeat questions and just switch the names out. So Boots got asked the same question after the Lima fight that Vergil got asked after his Lubin fight. The girl interviewing Boots said, "Who do you want the most?" I just played the clip. She said, "Who do you want the most? There's Xander Zayas, blah, 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 blah. Who do you want? Who do you want?" And he said, "Give me Vergil Ortiz." I mean, I could play it again. It ain't nothing.
Vergil's the only man out.
I'm the man at 154.
What do you have to say about you in this new weight class?
I feel great. You know, I'm glad I moved up, and it's time to eat now.
What are your thoughts about Xander Zayas, Sebastian Fundora, Bakram, Vergil Ortiz?
Bring them on.
Who do you want the most?
I want Vergil next. Babe.
Boom. Who do you want the most? I want Vergil next. She just named several 54-pound potential fights and said, "Who do you want the most?" And he said, "Give me Vergil. Give me that Vergil." Very direct. But when Vergil is being asked the identical same question, right? Who do you want next? Oh, it don't matter. That's literally what he said. So you can get mad at Boxingego for pointing it out. I don't really care.
Up over here.
I don't care if you're mad at me. You stay mad.
He still hurts his hands, so we got to check his hands right here. We'll see how we'll go from there.
Which one of them do you want next?
It doesn't matter who's next.
Get a PR person. Which one do you want next? Out of all, same question that Boots got. Out of all these guys at 54, who you want next? It don't matter who's next. And then seconds later, he said, "You know who I want next? I want Errol Spence." Huh?
Hands still. We'll see how we'll go from there.
Which one of them do you want next?
It doesn't matter who's next. If I had to pick, I'm going to be honest, it would be Spence because that's my dream fight. I've been calling it since
AT&T?
AT&T, there you go, at the Howard Stadium. And I just think that's my dream fight. I don't care what anyone says about it.
That's my dream fight, and I don't care what anybody says about it. So Boxingego wants to know what y'all got to say about it in the comment section. So again, post Lima fight, Boots asked the same question. Who do you want out of all this crop of fighters at 54? Who do you want most? Vergil Ortiz. I want to shut y'all up and prove I'm the best at 54. These are Boots' words pretty much verbatim. Vergil Ortiz, after his Lubin knockout, they both got a first and second round knockout. So the parallels are pretty close. They both got a knockout within 2 rounds against guys with names that start with the letter L in the same weight class, and then got asked the same question. Ortiz, instead of saying, man, this man 5 minutes ago was in my face talking greasy, Jaron Boots Ennis talking about he gonna stop me and he gonna make me pay. Give me him. That's the golden opportunity to call out the guy who was just confronted. Like, how does that even work where somebody confronts you, your adrenaline goes up? If you ever been in a fight or argument or whatever, you don't know if it's going to go left. You got adrenaline spikes, right? It'll spike up. So 5 minutes before this interview with Vergil Ortiz, right? You're confronted by this guy who's talking spicy to you and says he wants to fight you. And then they ask you, out of all these guys, who do you want to fight? What's next? And he said, it doesn't really care. Very nonchalant. It doesn't matter. Then he was like, you know what? You know who I do want to fight? Errol Spence. Yeah, the guy who hasn't fought in 2.5, 3 years, and the guy coming off a car crash, a long layoff, a bad loss to Crawford where he lost every round, switching his trainer. He's with Roy Jones now. We don't really know if we've already seen the best of Errol Spence or what's going on with Spence. And then Vergil follows up, I don't even care who's mad. That's my dream fight. Well, enjoy that energy.
We'll go from there.
Which one of them do you want next?
It doesn't matter who's next. If I had to pick, I'm gonna be honest, it would be Spence because that's my dream fight. I've been calling it since
AT&T.
AT&T. There you go. At the Cowboys Stadium. And I just think that's my dream fight. I don't care what anyone says about it. But anyone else, like I said, anyone can get it respectfully. I just want to fight the best. I'm just a competitive guy. Yeah.
Tell me that energy from Vergil sounds equivalent to Boots' current energy. I just want to fight the best, so I want to fight Errol Spence, who hasn't fought in 3 years, who's coming off a horrific loss, who's coming from a horrific car accident, who's coming from a detached retina, who literally hasn't fought at 54 in recent times as a pro, right? But you want to fight the best. Tell me this is making sense to you, right? And now here's another interview with Vergil Ortiz. It gets worse before it gets better. Roll the clip.
Competitive guy. Yeah.
If I can fight whoever I want at this point, I fought Bohachuk, I fought Majimov, and I fought Lubin. A lot of those fights, people thought I was going to lose. People thought I was going to lose to Majimov because he gave Crawford a tough fight. People thought I was going to lose to Lubin. They thought he was going to box the shit out of me. So I mean, like, I can do whatever I want. I don't care what people think. I don't care if it's Roy Jones, as great as his career was. I don't care.
Boom. Again, Vergil, quote, I don't care, Ortiz. I'm done. I made an excellent case. You guys can debate it and argue it in the comment section. I know I presented every thought that I needed to regarding that. You got one guy who already got labeled a duck in the past, and he's like, y'all not finna put that duck label on me. We need to run this fight next. So he's man on fire, right? He Denzel walking away from the exploding car. I wish you had more time, right? But then when Vergil's being asked the same question, him specifically, not even to mention his team, but him specifically, he's like, it doesn't really matter. You know what? I want to fight Errol Spence. That's my dream fight. I don't care who says what. That's my personal dream fight. Yada, yada, yada. All right? Not a good look. Then he does another interview post Lubin, and he talking about, I don't care. They thought I was going to lose to Lubin and Madrimov because he gave Crawford a fight. I can do whatever I want. Great attitude from the person, the fighter, who literally just said that he wants to fight the best, but now he's saying, he's talking like Floyd Mayweather, like he's Canelo, like he's Crawford, and his resume is so deep, put her butt to sleep. Like his resume is so deep, he can do whatever he wants. I've earned the right. What are you talking about, bro? You fought Madrimov. People may have thought you were going to lose. Maybe that's true because Madrimov, he's solid. He was coming directly off a loss to Crawford, bro. Like, Crawford in his very first fight at 54 fought Madrimov when he was a champion. So a black fighter, Terrence Bud Crawford from Omaha, Nebraska, moves up after destroying Errol Spence, a grudge match for years, does the Errol Spence business, moves up. His first fight is champion, undefeated Madrimov, who recently had become a champion, and he beats him. Vergil then fights him off of a loss to Terrence Crawford, right? Remember they canceled, Vergil Ortiz was supposed to fight Boachuk himself. And I told you that would have been a dangerous fight coming off a Crawford loss, right? And not that long of a break. He fought Crawford in August, and then he was supposed to fight Boachuk November, December on like Tyson Fury Usyk or some card. But then mysteriously they said Madrimov, who was scheduled to fight Boachuk in late last year, and then fight Vergil in February. I told you that was a terrible idea because you can't go from Crawford to Boachuk to Ortiz in that short of a time. It's just stupid for a boxer. You're not even resting. You're going through mad, tough fights. It's just dumb. Of course, Boxingego, I'm usually right. Y'all know it. The videos are still up in case when someone says, oh, you're lying. Then they pulled Madrimov like I predicted, and they said he was sick with strep throat or something, and they pulled him out of the Boachuk fight. And then coming off the Crawford loss, he fought Vergil Ortiz. So your claim to fame is fighting a guy off of a loss. That's the reality of it. And Lubin, who he wasn't coming off a loss, but he had mad inactivity, and he fought a lower tier on Pro Box TV. And then before that, he probably lost to Fundora or something. And then before that, he got knocked out in one round by Charlo. So even Charlo, another black fighter, he still did better than you with an undefeated Lubin. So to now have Vergil Ortiz acting like he reinvented the game with his resume is laughable. I can fight whoever I want. I think I've earned the right. I've earned the right. Like, come on, bro. Like, now you just doing extra. You dig? Now you're doing extra talking about I've earned the right to fight whoever I want. And this is how his team is really responding and reacting. Like, if you pay attention, his team talking about we got to be number one in the promotion. He's like, his team said, we need 10 million or better, 7 zeros. That's 10 million or better. We need to lead the promotion and get the best options because Vergil's a star. Like, what are we talking about, bro? If he's a star, why Golden Boy ain't put him on pay-per-view? Somebody please let me know. I'll wait. He's such a star, you probably had to give away mad tickets for the Lubin fight. Let's be real. Come on, bro. He a good little fighter, but come on, bro. The funny thing is, Vergil Ortiz, I think his resume is a tad bit better. It's cool. It's good. You know what I mean? But they're making it like the gap between Boots and Vergil is here when in actuality it is really pretty close. It's really pretty close. You know what I mean? It's not as far apart as they're making it out to be. Like, we're not talking about Canelo and then Jose Cito Lopez, where come on, Canelo clearly a bigger star, bigger name. Josecito, Angulo, all these guys weren't even anywhere in the realm of Canelo's popularity. They're making it like Vergil Ortiz is Gervonta Davis or something. Like he out here selling pay-per-views and stuff, and that's all we know is cap. So for me, and I'm being honest, Vergil Ortiz's side, they're putting up too many roadblocks and obstacles that is not giving me good vibes at all. And Golden Boy, they don't have a deep stable, so when you lack depth, you have to use your people sparingly. Ryan seems like he dang near wants to leave Golden Boy. Canelo did leave Golden Boy. You had the little girls, Valle, the little hot Spanish chicks, right? They left. You had Senicia Estrada. She left and went to Top Rank before she got out the game. Jaime Munguia kind of did business with Top Rank in like Turkey, right? Who's Golden Boy? Zepeda just lost to Shakur Stevenson. Floyd Schofield got 2 pullouts in 1 year, less than a year, right? You had Lamont Roach, and now he's doing better in his career than he ever did when he was with Golden Boy. So the reality is, no one even talks about Zurdo Ramirez. Like, I mean, cruiserweight is not really like a popping division. Ain't nobody be like, oh, throw that Zurdo on. You know what I mean? You don't really even hear about him too much. So Golden Boy, I feel like I get it from a political. It's like people in the hood, a lot of times they have a scarcity mindset. You ain't never touched no money, so you don't know when your next big check coming. So you're gonna have that scarcity mindset, like, oh, I don't want to spend for this, because you try to hoard your money. But if you're a billionaire, you know that I'm gonna make the right choices, the right investments. I could get more money. So you tend to have a abundance mindset in those situations when you come across a lot of money in your lifetime. You know what I mean? It's not such a scarcity mindset. And that's why, to me, Golden Boy, they're in a scarcity mindset because they don't really have that many stars. You got some good fighters, but they're not like bona fide stars. So they know if Vergil fights Boots, that ain't like a guaranteed win. Like Lubin, the chances he lost were pretty slim, because for a guy like Lubin, you have to really bank on him winding back the clock, rather than in recent fights you've seen this amazing Lubin like when he was on his way up. So that's where a lot of people get got in this boxing game, and I'm exposing it. People who have a name in the game, everybody wants to remember the glory days, but them glory days are looking like they're in the rear view for a lot of fighters. So younger fighters or other fighters can leech off of that name, and it happens to be a good name based on their glory days. You know what I mean? And when you see a matchup, you tend to kind of almost look at it with a rose-colored set of lenses, where you're looking at it almost as if, hey, I'm going to look at like a prime Lubin versus Vergil Ortiz. A lot of people make this mistake. They're not looking at Vergil Ortiz versus Erickson Lubin in 2025. They're looking at, hey, Lubin, he dropped Sebastian Fundora whenever they fought, and he gave a good account of himself. So, yeah, Lubin, he knocked out Jorge Cota and was doing the squats and stuff in the middle of the fight. So, yeah, they're not looking at like, hey, I just watched him on Pro Box and he almost struggled a little bit with a lower tier person and he had mad inactivity. So people have leniency and a lot of grace with people who have already peaked, right? Like you look at Adrian Broner. People look at Adrian Broner, Blair Cobbs, and then a lot of Broner fans was like, man, he gonna whoop Blair Cobbs. But if you look at the actual matchup, Blair Cobbs had more momentum at that space than Broner had recently, right? That's the reality. And then Blair Cobbs ends up winning that fight. Vergil beating Lubin is nothing like if he were to beat Jaron Boots Ennis. Sometimes you got to take those risks. Boots is hot right now. You would take a fighter's O. Like, let's be real. Vergil out here really acting like I could do whatever I want. I'm Vergil Ortiz. I've earned it. People who doubted me in the past, and like, it's insane to me. It's truly insane because here's why. Pay attention. School is now in session. Vergil is like, yo, I can fight whoever I want. I've earned that. You're not taking nobody's O, bro. If you fought Boots, you would take his O if you beat him. You ain't took nobody's O. Mean Machine, he had lost to Crawford, so I know you beating him wasn't his first time. Mauricio Herrera, he lost to Danny Garcia and others, right? So you run down the list, Boachuk, he had already lost to Brandon Adams. This is off the top of the dome, people. I've already said earlier in this video, Madrimov was directly coming off another Crawford loss. So pretty much guys you beat, Crawford had already beaten. Let's just be real. Bud Crawford, a black fighter, had already beaten Mean Machine by stoppage, and he had already beaten Madrimov. And neither one of y'all stopped Madrimov, but Bud did it first. Bud did it first. So you didn't take Boachuk's O. Brandon Adams, a black fighter, did. You didn't take Mean Machine's O. Terrence Bud Crawford, a black fighter, did. And then you didn't take Erickson Lubin O. Jermel Charlo, a black fighter, did. And then Sebastian Fundora did, both by stoppage. And Charlo did it a round before you when he was undefeated. So I'm not really understanding this whole, I've done so much, y'all got to get off my back, I could do whatever I want type of attitude. I'm truly not really understanding that. I don't understand that for Vergil Ortiz. It's not making sense for you to have that demeanor and to act like, man, my back's been against the wall. Like you have this Canelo depth to your resume. Again, if you took the Boots fight, it's a risk, but it's a lot of reward too, because if you beat him, you'll be the first to beat. No one's beaten Boots. Same, he could say the same for you. If Boots beats you, he'll be the first to beat you. But that's what I think the problem is, kind of with Boots angling for the fight and Vergil Ortiz's team looking at it is like, nah, it's too risky. Golden Boy, they like, look at Floyd Schofield, they were about to put him in. They put him in with Tevin Farmer coming off 2 Zepeda losses, right? And then they were about to put him in with Jojo Diaz, who Devin Haney beat, Oscar Duarte beat, Zepeda beat. You know what I mean? That's the style of matchmaking that they're doing. Like very light, very top rank-ish. You know what I mean? That's why they gave him Lubin. Like Lubin ain't look dynamic enough to look like the old Lubin per se. Straight up, straight like that. He ain't look dynamic enough to say that. So I think they were willing to do that gamble with a Lubin, but Boots, he looking terrifying. He like Terrifier 1, 2, and 3. You know what I mean? He looking different. So that is a super, like you're fighting in prime. And we also seen Golden Boy do this with another black fighter, in my opinion, which was Shakur Stevenson. Remember, Shakur was sounding just like Boots, very confident. Like, give me Zepeda, I'll cook him. Zepeda, I'll cook him. And Shakur was down to fight. You got to give Shakur his props. You could say his style is this and that, but he was like, I'll cook Zepeda for sure, right? Remember the same play. Oh, Zepeda, his girl is pregnant. Same play. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Shakur, when Shakur was pressing down on that mouthpiece and like put me in there with Zepeda, I'll cook this boy. And DAZN and Turkey, they seemingly wanted to fight. Shakur definitely wanted to fight. They did the same thing, and they was talking about Zepeda girlfriend or wife or whoever is pregnant, right? And he was injured, so he couldn't fight Shakur. And then they end up postponing it. And then I think he fought Tevin Farmer again after or whatever it was. Look, yes, William Zepeda is injured, suffering left hand during his win over Tevin Farmer. The injury expected to require 6 to 8. Injury ultimately led to the cancellation of his fight against Shakur Stevenson. God dang, I'm good. I'm not even good. I'm great. I'm excellence. I told you. Right? I told you. My memory is impeccable. So literally, and then you've seen pictures of William Zepeda, a Mexican fighter, in a sling, and he couldn't fight. Shakur was trying to fight him ASAP Rocky, right? But Zepeda, wife was pregnant, was one of the issues. And then they said he had a surgery from the Tevin Farmer fight, which was another issue. Then he rematched Tevin Farmer, and then Turkey probably just was like, enough of this, and then forced the fight. So you see Golden Boy be doing the stall tactics. Let's be real. They be doing the stall tactics. Zepeda wife was an issue. That's what did Vergil Ortiz's dad say? Oh, we just had a kid. We had a long camp. His hand might be damaged because he has hand issues. Why you ain't say nothing else in the ring when Boots was running down on you? Why you be like, see, and that's the thing. When the lights and the cameras are on, everybody want to seem tough and everybody want to look like the aggressor, the alpha male, the true alpha. Why didn't Vergil say, I'll fight you depending on what the doctors say? Because that don't sound as cool. You know, that don't sound as cool to say, I'll fight Boots if the doctors approve me. You know what I mean? So everyone's like, man, you got a yes for me? Oh, I'll fight you. Oh, we could get it down. And then when it gets to negotiation and Eddie Hearn and Boots and Bozy and their team is like, all right, let's make the fight then. Then it's like, oh, we don't know. He might be injured. He just had a baby. Christmas is coming up. Now you start to hear the true story behind the scenes of what's going on and holding up the fight. I'm not impressed at all. This is another Shakur Zepeda 2.0 type of fight where Shakur shut him up. Zepeda, Golden Boy was like, Zepeda will whoop him. And here's let's be real, bro. You dealing with a real one. You dealing with boxing. Now you got the real one. You dealing with me, Boxingego. I've been doing this too long. Let's be real. Canelo, a Mexican fighter, fronted on a black fighter, Crawford. Oh, he too small. I win nothing. Why should I fight him? It's a bogus fight. They fought. Somehow, some way, politics aside, the money was right, whatever. They fought. What happened? Crawford cooked him. Now it looked bad for Canelo because like, all right, this is why you was stalling. This is why you was stalling because you knew Bud was formidable and maybe had the ingredients to beat you. William Zepeda. Golden Boy was like, oh, Shakur, he's solid, but the volume of punches from Zepeda, blah, blah, blah. And they do all this posturing. Shakur like, shut up, fight me, sign a contract, blah, blah, blah. Shakur fights Zepeda. What's the outcome? Shakur Stevenson beats him. The black fighter beat the Mexican fighter. And I'm not making this a black versus a Mexican thing saying like all the time the black fighter is going to win. That's not, but I know a lot of the race fans, they're going to interpret it. I don't really care. Y'all going to interpret how you want to interpret. The point I'm making is when you see these stall tactics for certain fights, oftentimes there's a deeper reason because you have promoters and the team, they really aren't confident, but they posture in public to make it look like they're super confident, but I don't think they truly like the style matchup, right? Vergil will fight a black fighter in the form of Erickson Lubin, who, again, he ain't had no impressive win. I don't even think he beat Ramos. I don't think he beat Ramos, right? So that's the issue. So this becomes another, it's like Rigondeaux. People were fronting on Rigondeaux, and then like Donaire fought Rigondeaux, and then he won. That was a whole big thing about who would win. And then when they fought, Rigondeaux won. So now you start to see why certain guys and styles get avoided, because at the end of the day, it shows and proves to be poison to the guy who put up all these like obstacles, this obstacle course, having a baby, hand might be injured. Literally. Zepeda had all this stuff happen right before when Shakur was like pushing for the fight. William Zepeda, hand injury from the farmer bout. Shakur fight not happening in February. So I hope I'm wrong. I hope all this video is for nothing and Vergil Ortiz and Boots line it up and fight next. But based on what I'm hearing, not confident. Eddie Hearn even did an interview and he said maybe not. So let me know what you think. We unpacked. Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that. If you're new to YouTube and you're struggling to get views, one tool I can provide to you is TubeBuddy. I've been on YouTube over 10 years. I use TubeBuddy daily to crank out videos just like this one that you're watching. Learn how the pros do it with TubeBuddy. YouTube receives a lot of traffic, which also means a lot of creators, a lot of people putting out content. So you need to learn the ropes so you know how to separate yourself, especially if you're new, but even if you're a pro, use TubeBuddy. The link is in the description. Get more views, more subscribers, and a higher click-through rate. So ultimately,